if Instagram and Twitter were popping, like when Pac was like beefing, like imagine how entertaining that would have been.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Pac would have got killed sooner.
Yes.
And he would have got his ass ate the fuck up. Whoa, what?
Hey, yo.
Lyricism wise, Pac would have got ridiculously murdered. Because it's out here for real. Bro, Pac was the crazy lyricist at our time because ain't nobody else have no platform.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna disagree respectfully with that just because look at what drill music is now. Like lyrics, it's all about disrespect. And when you say, yo, that's why bitch.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. If the platforms would have been what they are now, Pac would have got ate the fuck up.
What do you guys say about that? I'm gonna go with Ty Hill first because you made a statement that Tupac at one point was your GOAT, but then you said earlier that Jay-Z was the GOAT, and it's a hypocritical.
It's a lot of room for goats. So I have a few of them. Okay. You'll hear my favorites.
Goat farm.
You got a whole farm.
Yeah, it's a goat farm. It's about 5 of them. But no,
that's all I got to say about that.
You know, it's all dependent upon what my mood is. So I go off a mood. But Pac was not lyricist to the point of being the lyrical, you know, y'all favorite word, the double entendres, and you know, all of that type of slick shit. But we also have Pac is the most felt artist, I think, in history next to DMX to me. The music that he put out there was painting of pictures type of music. That's the type of stuff that I love. So, you know, when you talk about an artist to say, my mission is to be more than just a rap musician, the elevation of today's generation, if I can make them listen, like that's some shit to me, but it might not be to nobody else.
Even
you know what I'm saying? So when you got a person like Biggie, you know, who Slangster made him sound like Bill Cosby rapping earlier, but it was
women's in the league.
Yeah, that
takes on a whole different meaning now.
Look, but when you talking about like Pac's not gonna Pac can't get in a circle with fucking what atomically philosophies and hypotheses. Like he's gonna walk out of that circle if we're talking just lyrical bars. But
that's why he kicked Spectre Deck off and got my mind made up.
You had to, right? He had to, like it was. So, but Pac is the greatest to me, just off of the felt music of something that can last forever. That music lasts from early 90s, and we're still talking about him 25 years after his death, and we're still comparing them. So when you got a person like T-Pain who just says a lot of shit, T-Pain is literally Tekashi 6ix9ine out here right now. Like he's ratting on everybody. He's just trying to make a headline. You got this man just now told Akon was out here double booking shows with his brother. Like, why are you snitching? Like, I don't understand what T-Pain is doing. It's just to grab headlines at this point. But when you say these artists can beat Pac, or Pac couldn't stand up to him, who the fuck are the artists? Who are they? I mean, you would have to name them. So I went through this debate with a friend online, and he goes to name, well, we talking J. Cole, Kendrick. Nigga, they aren't new artists. These niggas are old as shit now. They damn near 40 now.
They've been out for more than a decade, like 12
years. They class of 08, 09, like
12, 14 years.
New artists. So who are we putting in this circle against Tupac? And why is Pac the only one got to stand against new niggas? Like, we ain't trying to compare fucking Jay-Z to Dirt.
So I would say this about Tupac. In real time, even though I liked Tupac a lot back then, Me Against the World, I didn't like it as much when he went to Death Row. But that's because back then I was Righteous Reem and very judgmental about content and different stuff. But from a lyrical standpoint, back then, because there was so many great lyricists out in the 90s, he didn't really shine. But as I've listened to Tupac over the years and I look back, I'm like, you know, a lot better than I thought it was. And compared to a lot of people that are current, Tupac sounds lyrical as shit when I listen to the radio today, and I try not to do that. I think Tupac is one of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time and one of the greatest songwriters we heard, right up there with Jay-Z. Now, I wouldn't put him in the same MC category as a Nas or a Rakim or a Busta Rhymes or something like that, but he had a different style, a different approach. I actually would put him closer to a KRS-One. Just to fuck with Ty Hill. Slangster, what do you have to say about this?
You just disrespect the dead man.
I mean, first of all,
Oh.
That's a different show.
Okay.
Even though he often sounds like Chris Parker, he sometimes hates on the prowess of one of the God MCs.
You talking about me?
Yes.
No, I wasn't hating KRS-One. Ty Hill hates KRS-One.
Oh yeah, we know.
Teacher.
That's a different show.
Don't send me on my KRS-One rant.
please, different show. I will turn off the camera. Walk away.
Oh my God.
Hey, yo, I just had MC Shan on my show too. It's fucking hilarious. I wanted to say, I was being nice through the whole thing, but I wanted to say, yeah, man, fuck KRS-One.
Not MC Shan, but the MC stands for more crack. Okay. Listen. First of all, we can't be so intelligent if we were to take the opinions of one T-Pain but so serious. Like T-Pain, like the T stands for troll. But when just examining a lot of times how people analyze and appraise Tupac as an MC, again, I always in these conversations come back to the proof in the pudding that is that we all are prisoners to our own biases. And those biases are informed and formed in our formative years in so many different ways. For me, when Tupac was coming out with, Me Against the World and those really big Tupac records that dropped, I was in 6th grade. And the sensationalization of Tupac at the time, and this was before Ready to Die had even came out. Like, my mind was blown. I was totally captivated by Tupac. And so my appreciation for him was formed really early on. And so I would often take the Tupac side in a lot of the debates, even in the versus Biggie back then. And I think that over the years, my appreciation and what I can contribute to the debates has a bit of a slight on it, because people look at, I've even used it as a bar before, like as basic as a Tupac rhyme scheme, but different MCs have different skill sets, and Tupac's skill set and what he could do so well was so well honed. Like, people, like even T-Pain said, like, oh, look at him as a poet. And people often look at, like, oh, as MCing as if it's not poetry. And if having poetic skills that you can apply to songwriting actually gives you an advantage as an MC, it makes you better.
Rap and rhythm and poetry.
Right, like, and if you look at a lot of Tupac's songwriting, like, he was a master at various poetic devices and techniques. Like, he crushed with alliteration on a regular basis. The way he would use alliteration to tell a story or to diss the shit out of somebody. Like, how he would use imagery, how he would use storytelling. Like, and then if you look into songs like Changes, where the content is so strong, but lyrically he's still killing it. Like, the way he would put together multi-syllabic words in a way that was not emphatic but subtle. Like, Tupac was an amazing writer and an amazing MC, and oftentimes that gets overlooked because his style wasn't the typical New York bar, staccato style. But he was actually using a writing technique that appealed to more people outside of just people who listen to lyricism, but still doing it at a very high skill level. Like, for the longest time, it's changed over time, but for the longest time, the lowest that I would rate Tupac on the all-time list was 3rd. And so for me, like what T-Pain said is blasphemy, to be honest. Like, it's literally blasphemous to say that Tupac would get lyrically crushed in this era, because that makes no sense, because this era, the skill level in the mainstream is emphatically lower than it was in that era. Like there was so many amazing MCs at the time that it was actually harder to shine lyrically then. Now, Tupac would look like freaking Amir Baraka next to people on the radio now. Like, you could do his
bars will be on steroids. It'll be ridiculous.
You could do entire syllabi about Tupac songs in comparison to what people are rapping in the mainstream now. Like,